In example 6, we have a problem here that says a construction worker on the 24th floor of a building, see the picture on the right there, accidentally drops a wrench and yells, "Look out below." Could a person at the ground level hear his warning in time to get out of the way? So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a position model that says S is equal to negative 16 t squared minus v sub 0 t plus s sub 0, where v sub 0 is the initial velocity of the wrench. And the wrench was dropped and not thrown, so the initial velocity is 0. And S sub 0 is going to be the initial height of where the wrench was dropped from. And S itself is basically figuring out where we are positionally for the wrench. So here's some assumptions that we need to make. Assumption is that each floor is 10 feet. The worker drops the wrench from 5 feet below the ceiling of the 24th floor. And so the wrench is really dropped from 235 feet. Now, sound travels at 1100 feet per second, so people at the ground level will hear the warning within 1 second. All right, so they're within 1 second. So let's see, we're going to do this. We're going to actually say S is equal to 1600 t squared plus 0t, so that's just going to be 0, plus the initial height, which is 235 feet. And that's going to tell us how far things are. Now let's just check and see what happens when t equals 1 and find out how high this thing is at 1 second. Oh, that's a negative 16. So we're going to go S then, and I'll say of 1, is going to equal negative 16 times 1 squared plus 235. So that's just negative 16 plus 235, and we're just subtracting 16 from 235. That ends up being a 9. 219 feet. So the wrench is still 219 feet off the ground after second 1. After 2 seconds, so let's see what happens at t equals 2. So now we're talking about the height at 2. Now we're saying negative 16 times 2 squared plus 235. So that's really negative 16 times 4 plus 235, or negative 64 plus 235. So 235 minus 64, I get 171 feet. So from here then, we know that after 2 seconds, we're still at 171 feet. Let's see, what is it going to take for S to be 0, or when the wrench actually hits the ground? So how about if we just say S then of t is equal to 0. And so we're just going to say, I don't know what t is. So let's just calculate that. Well, that's going to be this then. 0 is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 235. So if I add 16 t squared to both sides, I get 16 t squared is equal to 235. Divide by 16. we'll use a calculator for this, which is 14.69. If I take the square root of that, I find what t is. Which is about 3.82. Correction, 3.83. So 3.83 seconds. So here's how the problem goes then. It takes 1 second for the sound of "look out below" to get to the floor and the ground level at 0. So, and that's going to happen at 3.83 seconds. So almost 4 seconds. So there's plenty of time for everybody to get out of the way and not get hit by a wrench that was dropped from the 24th floor.